Hi everyone, it's Evangeline right here at eTrailer. Today we're taking a look at our Thule Epos 2 Bike Rack, and we're going to see how it fits here on our 2023 Cadillac XT4. If you're looking for a bike rack to carry around your bike's different shapes and sizes, the Thule is going to be a very popular brand, and the Epos is going to be their more compact and lightweight option. If you keep your bike rack stored in your garage a lot of the year, then this might be a good option for you since it does have things like wheels and the ability to fold up to be more compact. Now on the vehicle though, you also have a great weight capacity of 140 pounds for two bikes. A single bike capacity, if you're only carrying one, is going to be up to 75 pounds, which is great for those heavy electric bikes. Now, focusing on our XT4 though, there are some things we want to talk about, like ground clearance and how much space you have off the ground, especially with a lower hitch, as well as how much space you have behind your vehicle. So let's say you have your bikes loaded up and you get to the restaurant and you need to grab something, or you get home and you don't want to unload your bikes, but you do need to unload your cargo area. You can tilt the rack down like that, and then this will allow you to open up your vehicle. So with the hatch door open, you can see how there's plenty of clearance here between the door and our bikes. We can now get in here. If we wanted to switch out our shoes, this is the perfect spot to do so. If we had groceries, we could put those away and take those out. Here's another look at that clearance. With how far away that rack tilts, I'm not worried about anything touching whatsoever. To bring the rack back up, it's simply a matter of lifting up and it clicks into place, and now you're ready to drive. So compared to other options where you may have to just turn a lever or twist a knob, this is going to be a very quick and easy way to get a lot of clearance for your cargo. As for how this secures your bikes, this is a little different compared to your regular rack. You have your 3 points of contact, 2 of them being wheel straps, but then your third is going to be this mount. This can be used either as a frame mount if you have fenders, or a rear wheel mount. This is also lockable, so instead of having to deal with cable locks you'll have to undo before you start driving, this can stay locked even when you're on the road. To take your bike off, it's a matter of loosening the straps. By the way, the straps are interesting too, in that they have a ratcheting lever where you lift up to get a tighter fit on your bike, and you press down to move the straps up and out of the way. So it's 1 and then 2, and once those 2 straps are released, that's when you then figure out how to grab your bike and then release that third mount. I like to just reach around and hold the bike with my elbow as I move the bike out with my other hand, and that way once that's out, I can just grab and go. Now if you're familiar with the Thule Easy Fold XT, that one had a ramp included with the rack. This one does not, but if you are planning on carrying heavier bikes from 70 to 75 pounds, you may want to consider purchasing that add-on. You're going to have to keep it inside your vehicle, but it'll be very helpful if you don't want to lift your bike up and over and would rather just ramp it up the rack. But the reason I suggest that ramp add-on for your Cadillac is because of the ground clearance. This does sit a little bit higher up compared to some other potential bike racks for your vehicle, and that's because you have the shank rise. From where it fits to your shank, there's still a little extra lift to give you more clearance. Great if you're going over speed bumps and potholes, but not as great for if you have to lift heavy bikes. So from the ground to our cradle, that's going to be about 23.5 inches. So you're lifting your bike almost 2 feet up and onto the rack. Ground clearance from the end of the rack to the ground though, that's going to be 20 inches. Compare that to your hitch, which is about 15.5 inches off the ground. So plenty of space here for installing your rack and tightening it down, but you do have to be mindful of how high you want to lift those bikes up without extra assistance. With it like this, it does add a little bit of space to the back of your car that you have to be mindful of too. So measuring from your bumper to the end of the rack, this sits at 30 inches of clearance. Something to remember if, let's say, you're parking into a tight spot or in your garage. Since the XT4 is more of a compact SUV though, you do have more room to work with. Another thing to consider is that when you do install this into your hitch receiver, while it looks like it may come close to the bumper, there's actually plenty of space there. This does angle upwards to give you more space, so the closest point is going to be from your bumper to the rack, 2.5 inches. This is also going to be where you install your rack, and this is utilizing a lever here to tighten things down or loosen it up, and then this locks into place at the side of the rack. This is also how you would drive around town without any bikes loaded up, which will give you plenty of clearance to reach into your hatch whenever you need to. You're also going to have little reflectors on the end of the rack just to give you a little bit more safety when you're driving down the road. There is a version of the Thule Epos that has wiring for lights as well as a license plate attachment or extender, and that's going to be your upgraded version, which will require you to get wiring on your Cadillac as well. So I usually go with this bike rack since I don't need those extra features on the daily. Now, when you do take the rack off and you need to store it in your garage, these cradles fold up to be a lot more compact. They also have a handle in the center to make it easier to carry, and this is pretty lightweight. I can carry it on my own. It does feel a little unwieldy at first, but you do learn to hold the handle and support the shank, and then just move it around your garage, picking up much less space compared to your other Thule bike racks. All in all, the Thule Epos is a great fit here on our Cadillac XT4. I know a lot of people that have the Thule XTR, and their biggest thing with that is it is on the bulkier side and hard to storage in their garage, versus the Epos, which is going to be the more lightweight, more compact, but still high weight capacity bike rack for even your heavy electric bikes. Now, the one downside with this rack is going to be, if anything, the inability to tilt up or fold up to be even more compact when you're driving around. But here on our Cadillac, I don't think it needs that feature as much because it really doesn't take up that much space behind your vehicle. Your vehicle is already on the shorter side, and if you did fold it up, you'd always have to bring it back down to get access to your hatch. So in my opinion, I don't need that feature as much, but if you're looking for a similar bike rack with a similar weight capacity and design that does offer that feature, I'd recommend checking out the Hollywood Racks Destination E. That one also has an included ramp, which is a great perk compared to the Epos, where you're going to have to purchase the ramp separately if you want that function. But other than that, the Epos is going to be a great fit for your Cadillac in terms of ground clearance, weight capacity, and clearance with the vehicle. This was a look at the Thule Epos 2 bike platform rack, and you saw it on a 2023 Cadillac XT4.